May 13, 2025. This is the S&P 500 E-Futures Mini on the 2000 tick chart using NinjaTrader 8. Here's what the chart looked like today. In the pre-market, kind of continued from yesterday. It pushed down, rallied pretty hard. I didn't find this yellow up channel first. I actually was playing this darker orange channel. And then later, I stretched this down because it was actually a trend line, and then I matched it up to the highs. So I didn't really see a good confirmation at the high side. So it was kind of like a yellow up channel that I thought was in development. And initially, I thought it might have been something closer to here, touching the bottom here and the tops here. And then later, it didn't really seem to, well, matter too much, except for on the low side where the support is. Then it looked like it was like two legs down, and then a third leg, like a push down on this bigger orange down channel, then another push up on this blue one, another break on this yellow one, then another orange one, magenta up, and then just got choppy and pushed into the close. So I found most of the setups kind of earlier on. Unfortunately, missed this big ride up because I wasn't too sure about the setup. And then I took one trade here, which was okay. And then I took a second trade, which was a little more sketchier. And then afterwards, there weren't very many clean setups that I could find or I thought were worth taking. The only economic data that came out was the core CPI data, which came out at 5:30 Pacific Standard, which is this big spike that you see here. And other than that, President Trump did come out and start saying some things because I think he's in the Middle East, and he was probably asked some questions, did some Q&A, said some things about tariffs, how deals are going to be made, et cetera, and that did cause some chop throughout the day. So I'm going to get into the trades right now. I took two trades, one here and one here, as I've mentioned, and they're both green. This one was, I think, not the best trade. It should have just been skipped because it was a little bit iffy. So the pre-market, there was a flush down, two legs down. It looks like it was consolidating here, then it started pulling itself back up, pushed above the EMA. There's the CPI data that came out, flashed up high. Looks like it's two legs down, hits the sideways consolidation, and then actually opens and it kind of pushes up. Looks like it's almost like two legs, one leg up, pull back, second leg, and it looked like it was first entry long here. See if I can get it better. Okay, first entry long here, pull back. Technically, you have a second entry long here, but I saw this as a first entry long off this green bar, pull back. This is all part of the same leg, second entry long here, pull back, and it looks like you could count it as a triple test. It's very tight here. This yellow up channel doesn't exist yet. It doesn't even exist as a trend line support yet, but I thought there was some kind of support here with a good signal bar close and a push above the EMA. So I thought it was a possible trade. It's a little too early for me because I wanted a even more A+ setup to be confident in taking this trade, so I skipped it, but I think it was a possible trade. It starts pushing up, and I'm starting to look, and I find this yellow, it isn't a channel yet, it's more of a yellow trend line support, or just a trend line. So I saw one touch, two touch, three touch, and then later I developed it into this orange because it was this, and then I drew this orange up channel first because I said, okay, there's two touches here. I need a third confirmation. I can trust this. It's a new high, say first entry long pullback. Technically, you get your second entry long here, but I saw this visual one leg down, pull up, second leg down, because even though there's a small second entry long here, looks like more like a visual first entry, pullback, second entry. It's a bounce off the EMA, bounce off this yellow trend line support, and bounce off of this orange channel that I have initially drawn, thinking, okay, there's some kind of channel in play here. The thing I didn't like that stopped me was I didn't like this signal bar. It is kind of a doji, but you could technically say this is your signal bar, but then this signal bar is inside bar to this. So I wasn't too keen on this, treating this as a signal bar, and I thought this might have been a signal bar. I want to see what the next candle does. Pushes up. So now it's a visual first entry, second entry, also a new low, first entry short, second entry short, second entry short failure. The problem with this is if I wasn't going to take this trade here, I'm a little apprehensive to take it after the close because there is, I think, just enough room to scalp out, but it doesn't feel very safe because I was thinking there is a potential resistance here, roughly, or maybe up here. So didn't take it. Whoop, didn't mean to do that. I think I flashed. Didn't mean to do that. Go back. Okay, that was wild. See if I can recreate where I was. Okay. Then it pushes up, and now it's making a new high. I'm looking for a higher low, ideally to come back down to this support. Then I take a trade. You kind of get a higher low here, but again, this higher low, I needed this guy to tick one tick below and then push back up, or at least bounce off this orange channel, but it didn't do that, so I left it alone. Little did I know that this would have been the trade of the day. I mean, look at this. This is a very strong, very deliberate push up. You can tell by these small candles, and they're all very bullish. Unfortunately, I was thinking if it could come back to the key entry point, or at least the low of this support, then I would be able to at least justify taking a trade there. But it never does. It just kind of hovers above here. And I was trying earlier to try to make something fit, but it felt like I was kind of like doing something like this. I felt at the time like I was trying to invent a reason to go long, and I just didn't know if at any time this could just turn back down. So unfortunately missed this setup here, and it just kept going. And there was no other clean second entries. So if you were able to take it on this trade, then you were able to just ride this up like really, really nicely. I doubt I would have taken I mean, I didn't, but I doubt this trade, because you would have been able to ride this up and probably got stopped out here if you traced your runner back up. But this one is a clearly safe trade with a more higher probability your runner could have just kind of like kept moving it up if you just kept it below each swing low. Unfortunately, I wasn't on this trade, so it just kind of kept pushing up. Comes back down, bounces, and this is actually where I take my first trade. It creates a new high. It creates a first entry long pullback. You have a confirmed second entry long. So I actually took this trade because I was banking on the strength of this yellow up channel and the strength of this orange up channel. Now, granted, this orange up channel already had a break, comes back down and pushed up to a second push. So there's an overshoot on this orange, but if you're playing the yellow one, which I now developed it into a yellow one because I said, okay, maybe it's actually something like this. I did think at one time maybe it was even higher like this, but it doesn't feel balanced. There's just too much too much blank space up here. So I said, okay, the best I can justify is maybe a touch down here and a touch here. So it looks like it kind of hit the midline. It's coming back down. I was watching this candle, and it was about to close, and it was pushing pretty strongly, making a triple top here. I decided to enter pretty much at the highs of this, and then it took my trade and then closed a little bit lower. But I thought, okay, there's probably enough momentum first entry, push back second entry, enough for at least a quick scalp. I was able to get the quick scalp, pushes up, and then I also had a runner which I was tracing below. Initially, it was below here. Once I got filled and got the profit target, I moved it to here, and then I guess kind of kept it one tick below, and I finally got my runner stopped out. But this, in all honesty, wasn't the best trade for a runner because it already had some kind of conflicting idea that it pushed to a new high here or potentially had an overshoot here. So I technically should have just taken it completely off and not traded a runner. In this case, my runner was stopped out pretty much where the rest of the shares were, or not shares, the rest of the contracts were taken, the bulk of it. So I was lucky in this case. Otherwise, it would have probably just been 4 out of 5 contracts that got the profit target, and the last one would have been break even. Prices then continue moving down. So it looks like it's 2 legs down, makes a measured move, makes 1 leg up, second leg up, and creates what I think is a lower high. It's a possible trade because it is a new low here. It's a first entry short, pullback, second entry short, and then a lower high pushes up, pushes back down, closes at the low, enough room to the EMA. I thought this is a strong push out of this potential range, and it looks like it's doing a correction. It did do a 2-leg correction, sideways consolidation, and it's starting to push down. EMA is starting to turn to become more bearish. So I thought this might have been a possible trade. Pushes down, kind of bounces. So I'm trusting that this is a more better defined channel now because I initially had 1 touch, 2 touch, and I created it into a channel because it looked like it's 2 touch here, and I needed a 3rd touch. Now I do have a 3rd touch. Clearly it's bearish. So anytime it comes back up to here, I'm going to be looking for a short. I'll be a little more hesitant to look for a long off a bounce here because it's starting to turn bearish. So it comes up, pushes, it creates a new low, first entry short pullback. Here creates kind of this double matching bottom. I was thinking at the time, is there a second entry short? Because it is making a double bottom. It is getting a rejection off this yellow down channel. I just needed this guy to ideally break below here, but now I have two candles and it's above the EMA. So I'm looking for this next candle and it never triggers. So I was thinking there might be a short here. I think if I were more aggressive and probably foolish, I would have, after seeing this, put my entry right at the lows instead of one tick below. If I had done that, I might have gotten filled and likely gotten stopped out. But if I follow the more proper trading rules, keeping one tick below here, then I would have been saved. And seeing this flush up, I would have quickly canceled the order. So this is just an indication to myself because this is something I was thinking about at the time. And then I was relieved when this flushed up and I never did take this trade. Then prices continue moving up, creates a new high. It's a first entry long pullback. It creates this second entry long possibility. But at the time I saw this inside bar. Then when it did create and confirm a second entry long, I'm looking for a higher low. But at the time I was thinking, this could there be a trade here? But it was also in this green down channel. So it's again something I was just reflecting on in real time. Same thing with this one. And it's more in my notes for myself to just be a little more cautious because I'm glad I didn't act on this, even though it would have been a trade that likely got me the profit target of my quick scalp, but it's not a good setup. Plus it's inside bar. It would have broke discipline, which I'm still battling with. Prices then continue moving up. Moves up on what I think is this blue up channel. No clean second entries. It creates this second entry long possibility. It is bouncing off this blue up channel. It doesn't really have a confirmed channel on the top side, but I do believe the bottom side is a strong support. So it's a new high, first entry long pullback, second entry long. I really wanted this to be a bullish bar because this looks fantastic. And I marked it as a possible trade, but in reality, I wasn't too confident in it because of the red body, but there is enough room to the highs. So in context, it looks like it's a possible trade. First entry long, pullback, second entry long, bounce off the bottom of this blue support. And you can pretty much say it's bouncing off the EMA. But I missed it, comes back down, and it creates a new low, first entry short, pullback, second entry short. So I was definitely getting FOMO off of this missed trade here that I said it's a new low here, new swing low, first entry short, second entry short. This second entry short is about to fail, despite the fact that it's already pressing against the high, which it looks like prices have had a little bit of trouble clearly breaking out of. Because it's like it tested here, kind of tested here, broke out. It's doing a third time, but in my mind, I'm justifying it. I'm saying it's creating higher highs and higher lows. The failed second entry short this is a terrible signal bar, but I'm going for it. So I enter one tick above because I knew if I put it one right here, try to save a scalp, it's risky because I learned that, this probably would have, stopped me out if I, not this one, I think it was this one, yeah. This second entry short, if I did put it at the lows, something like this would have gotten me in trouble. So this is still a very risky, not a good setup trade because as I said, it's already pressing toward the high. It didn't touch bounce off the EMA. It doesn't even have a good signal bar. No good reason to take this trade. The trade was actually back here, and I was definitely chasing this. So I had to sit through some heat, and then finally it pushes up, and I got the quick scalp. Now, in all honesty, I was thinking I had a runner, but seeing this sideways chop, I was considering just getting out break even after I saw this and it pulled back. And I was thinking, this isn't a good idea. But at this point, it did bounce off the blue channel again, but I kept it. But I moved all my contracts together and decided just get yourself some relief, get out of this trade. And I was fortunate, I was able to get out. The prices move up. And so this is a kind of like a lessons learned. I could tell my discipline was breaking down. There's no good reason to take this trade, definitely affected by this. And so I decided, okay, I have 2 wins for the day, which, lately I should just be super grateful for because I could easily give it back on a loss and then feel mentally triggered. So I decided not to take any more trades. Prices move down. It's a first entry long pullback, second entry long. Looks like it's 2 legs down. Hits the support area, consolidates. It's a new low. It's a first entry short, but then it creates a double bottom. I was thinking you're in a range here. So it creates a new low, first entry short pullback, second entry short, bad signal bars to go short on. It starts pushing up and out, so I'm not so sure this is a range anymore. It starts pushing out. I'm thinking it's like a few legs up. Maybe I'm this orange up channel, but I look to the left and I notice there's this big push up. Looks like it's two legs down, maybe a third leg. Another push to test the high. Looks like another two legs down. Then it looks like it's creating two legs up, but maybe a bigger leg up. So it just looks like it's very bullish biased, but a little bit kind of tricky to trade. So it creates a new high, first entry long pullback, second entry long. Technically, I saw it as a visual first entry, second entry right here. Bounce off the EMA. It could be pushing back into this orange up channel. Then it presses down. It gets choppy, moves back up. It continues upwards. So it's a little confusing because every time the channel breaks, it tests the high. And then there's no correction so far. So I'm a little weary, but I'm also aware of there's a lot of announcements being made about how I think the US is going to. Now, despite the fact that the news is coming out, I really don't really trade the news like that, but I do know any kind of positive news lately that has anything related to any of the big companies may cause the market to rally or do some choppy price action. And that's kind of what we saw today. So it creates a new high, first entry long pullback. It creates a second entry long. I thought this was a trap. And I think this is a trap I would have fallen for because it's pushing up on this nice yellow up channel. It did create a measured move. So I would have seen, well, I saw it as this. I saw it as a new high. It's a first entry long pullback. It creates a second entry long right here. Now, even before this candle printed, when it created a double top, I think when I saw this touch off the EMA bounce up, this green down channel doesn't exist yet. I would have seen it as first entry, second entry. I would have put my entry one tick above. And I believe I would have gotten filled here and I would have gotten trapped and stopped out right here because I was expecting a test of this high. But in the case here, the measure move has already been made. However, I think what would have confused me and what did confuse me is every time it makes a high, it just kind of keeps going up, kind of keeps going up. So this could be this is the push correction and another push. What's to say it's not going to create a third leg because it's kind of done that already. One leg up, two legs, three legs down. And it looks like one leg, maybe a second leg, then another smaller third leg. And there's also two legs down, two legs, maybe a third leg up. So for sure, I was very, I think, bullish biased, thinking prices are probably going to keep moving up on this shallow up channel. This has since been deleted. So this trap likely would have, I likely would have fallen for this trap if I just, decided to continue trading. Then it pushes, there's two legs down again. No clean second entries, is a new low, first entry short, had a strange gap here. Technically a second entry short and a second entry short failure, but it's a little bit not the cleanest because I'm thinking it's one leg up, two legs down, like one leg up, break, two attempts up. Maybe there's a second leg up here, but it chops around further. So it's like a new low, first entry short, second entry short. It makes a new high, so I restart the count. So I don't really consider it a third entry short. So I'd say new low here, first entry short, second entry short, inside bar. I don't really know what to do here. It's inside a trading range. You could be playing range rules as well, maybe coming from the top, maybe enough to the bottom, but I don't like that it's an inside bar. EMA is not helpful at all. It's just chopping straight through. So I don't really know if it's going to have another push up or if it's going to actually come back down and test this low or test this support doesn't exist yet, but it is right at the bottom of this range. So I'm honestly just a little confused at what's going on. It pushes, creates a first entry long pullback, creates a second entry long, but this is a bad signal bar. I would not have thought of going long here. Confirm second entry long here. So I would be looking for a higher low. You kind of get a higher low here, but it's also the wrong candle color. Pushes back up. It's just getting really choppy and confusing. You have a second entry long, but it's doji. Hits this consolidation sideways. It doesn't look like clean price action anymore. It's just kind of getting messy again. So it's a first entry long pullback. Technically, you have a second entry, again, another inside bar. And then it just kind of moves. And I just kind of tuned out at this part because this is toward the last 30 minutes, pretty much the last 15 minutes of the day. And it just kind of sold off. So definitely, it was a little easier for me to follow early on. And I would say probably toward the latter half of the day, prices did slow down. It got a little messy, got a little confusing with too many legs up, too many legs down. And I probably was just mentally getting fatigued and getting sloppy with my chart read. And even as I do the review, I kind of question like whether I still understand what was going on here. So hopefully that was helpful.